Introduction: The moral imperative of faith-led climate action across the globe, a powerful and often overlooked force, is rising to meet the defining challenge of our time: climate change. This isn't a tale of governments or corporations alone, but a profound story emerging from churches, mosques, temples, synagogues, and gurdwaras. Welcome to the dynamic intersection of faith and climate action, where ancient spiritual values are igniting a modern environmental revolution. This video will journey through inspiring case studies, revealing how diverse religious communities are translating profound moral conviction into tangible, planet-healing results. We'll explore how protecting our shared home is being reframed from a purely scientific or economic issue into a deep spiritual duty, a sacred calling central to countless faith traditions. This movement isn't new. Its roots stretch back decades, with religious leaders delivering sermons on the sacredness of creation, lobbying for cleaner energy, and forging unprecedented interfaith declarations demanding environmental justice. But its urgency and scale are now unprecedented. Today, the interfaith climate movement is defined by a surge in cross-religious collaboration and a resounding recognition of the moral imperative to act. These communities wield unparalleled influence, possessing vast global reach and deeply embedded grassroots networks uniquely suited to mobilize congregations and disseminate vital environmental information at the local level. They are no longer passive observers, but active participants on the world stage, bringing crucial ethical and moral perspectives to international climate negotiations like the COPs, forcefully advocating for climate justice and the rights of the most vulnerable. Witness the powerful trends. Faith institutions are increasingly divesting their financial assets from fossil fuels, redirecting investments towards renewable energy and sustainable solutions. Simultaneously, the green congregations movement is gaining remarkable traction. From grand cathedrals to humble neighborhood mosques and temples, places of worship worldwide are becoming living laboratories of sustainability. They are installing solar panels to harness the sun's power, implementing rigorous energy efficiency upgrades to drastically cut consumption, establishing community gardens to foster local food resilience, and meticulously managing waste to reduce their ecological footprint. Organizations like Green Faith, established back in 1992, exemplify this evolution. They've grown from a pioneering idea into a formidable international force, facilitating the installation of over a megawatt of solar energy at faith sites globally. They've mobilized tens of thousands, like the 20,000 people marching worldwide before the Paris climate talks, and co-sponsored major interfaith statements representing over 100 million adherents. Today, Green Faith champions bold systemic change, pushing for a fossil fuel non-proliferation treaty and an end to harmful subsidies. Similarly, the Interfaith Sower and Light Network in the U.S. unites congregations of many faiths under a common banner of energy stewardship and advocacy. The sheer diversity of action is breathtaking. In southern Africa, the Green Anglicans movement empowers local church green teams across 13 countries, linking tree planting and sustainable agriculture directly to biblical teachings of stewardship. Churches in Connecticut embrace the Green Congregation Challenge, transforming buildings with solar water heaters, superior insulation, pollinator gardens, and food waste programs. Across the Atlantic, Europe's pioneering Cambridge Central Mosque stands as a model eco-mosque, while the Bahu Trust trains imams on climate action, promotes solar power, organizes plastic-free Ramadan iftars, and retrofits homes for efficiency. Sikh communities worldwide answer the call by planting millions of trees. In India, the Brahma Kumaris integrate meditation and spirituality into sustainable yogic agriculture and vegetarian lifestyles. Buddhists in the San Francisco Bay Area, through Green Sangha, blend mindfulness practice with fierce advocacy for paper reduction and forest protection. And in Ethiopia, the ancient Orthodox Tewahedo Church safeguards an astonishing 35,000 church forests, vital biodiversity havens revered as earthly symbols of heaven. This isn't just about changing light bulbs, it's about fundamentally transforming hearts, minds, and communities. Faith groups provide a resonant ethical and spiritual framework that turns abstract climate concerns into a shared, deeply personal responsibility. They bridge societal divides, foster solidarity, leverage trusted leadership for grassroots mobilization, and directly influence policy. By installing renewables, promoting sustainable food, divesting from fossil fuels, and providing frontline disaster relief, they demonstrate practical solutions. Crucially, they offer hope and spiritual fortitude, inspiring both individual commitment and collective action in the face of an existential crisis, proving that protecting the planet is truly sacred work. Case studies in sacred sustainability, from vision to tangible impact. Building on this profound moral foundation, let's delve into the heart of the movement: tangible, transformative action. These are not abstract ideals, but concrete initiatives where faith communities are actively reshaping their physical spaces, operational practices, and community engagement to embody their environmental commitments. The outcomes are measurable, inspiring, and demonstrate the unique power faith institutions wield in the climate fight. Consider the profound transformation of the Islamic Foundation for Ecology and Environmental Sciences. Recognizing that religious leaders are pivotal in guiding community action, IFES developed the groundbreaking Al-Mizan initiative. This isn't just a training program, it's an intensive theological and practical immersion for imams and religious scholars. Participants delve deep into Islamic environmental ethics, exploring Quranic verses and prophetic traditions mandating stewardship, justice, and the prohibition of waste. Crucially, this theological grounding is paired with practical workshops on energy efficiency, waste management, water conservation, and the science of climate change. Graduates return to their communities equipped not only to deliver powerful sermons on environmental responsibility, but also to spearhead practical greening projects within their mosques and inspire behavioral change among congregants. This fusion of deep faith conviction and actionable knowledge is creating a powerful ripple effect across Muslim communities worldwide. Meanwhile, St. James's Church, Piccadilly, a historic landmark in the heart of London, stands as a testament to how even centuries-old structures can become beacons of sustainability. Facing the urgent need to replace aging, inefficient heating systems and reduce its significant carbon footprint, the church embarked on an ambitious footprint project. This wasn't a simple retrofit, it was a radical reimagining of energy use rooted in Christian stewardship principles. They drilled deep boreholes beneath the church to harness geothermal energy, creating a highly efficient ground source heat pump system. Simultaneously, they installed solar panels discreetly on ancillary buildings and undertook extensive building fabric improvements, including high-performance insulation and draft-proofing. The results are staggering: an estimated 80% reduction in operational carbon emissions and significantly lowered energy bills, freeing up resources for social outreach. Importantly, the project became a powerful educational tool, with interactive displays explaining the technology and theology behind the changes, inspiring countless visitors and setting a bold precedent for heritage buildings globally. In the Hindu tradition, the Bhumi project exemplifies how environmental action is intrinsically linked to spiritual practice. Partnering with temples across India and the UK, the project translates core principles like Tama, Sattva, and Rajas into direct environmental initiatives. Major temples are installing solar panels to power daily rituals and festivals, dramatically reducing reliance on polluting diesel generators. The concept of sacred groves, long protected by tradition, is being revitalized and expanded through large-scale native tree planting drives. Water conservation is prioritized, reflecting reverence for rivers like the Ganges, with rainwater harvesting systems implemented in temple complexes and campaigns launched to raise awareness about river pollution. During major festivals, the Bhumi Project actively promotes plastic-free celebrations and encourages devotees to offer organic, locally sourced flowers and food, directly linking eco-choices to spiritual devotion and reducing the environmental burden of large-scale religious gatherings. The Jewish community has launched impactful initiatives like solar mitzvahs, spearheaded by organizations such as Hazan and Adama. Recognizing the mitzvah of care for one another, synagogues across North America are transforming their rooftops into power plants. This movement goes beyond installation. It engages the entire congregation. Fundraising for solar panels becomes a community effort, often tied to B'nai Mitzvah projects or dedicated giving campaigns. Educational programs explain the connection between renewable energy, climate justice, and Jewish ethical teachings. The outcomes extend beyond kilowatt hours. Reduced operational costs allow synagogues to redirect funds towards social justice programs. Members gain practical knowledge about renewables, and the visible panels become a powerful symbol of the community's commitment to a sustainable future, sparking conversations beyond the synagogue walls. The Tzu Chi Foundation, rooted in Buddhist principles of compassion and mindful consumption, demonstrates the power of integrating environmental action into the core of community life. Their global recycling initiative is a marvel of organization and devotion. Volunteers, often elderly recycling bodhisattvas, meticulously sort collected waste at dedicated eco-action points, transforming discarded materials into resources and raising funds for humanitarian aid. This practice embodies the Buddhist concepts of reducing desire and minimizing harm. Beyond recycling, Tzu Chi actively promotes vegetarianism as a direct climate action, citing the significant carbon footprint of animal agriculture, and educates communities on water and energy conservation through practical workshops and community outreach. The sheer scale is breathtaking, millions of tons of materials recycled annually, but the deeper impact lies in the cultivation of mindfulness and the tangible connection made between daily choices, environmental health, and compassionate living. On an institutional level, the Church of Sweden, one of the world's largest landowners and institutional investors, made a landmark decision: full divestment from fossil fuels. This wasn't merely a financial maneuver, it was a profound ethical statement aligned with Lutheran teachings on justice and care for creation. The Church scrutinized its massive investment portfolio through a strict moral lens, concluding that profiting from fossil fuel extraction contradicted its core mission. The divestment process involved rigorous engagement, shareholder activism, and ultimately, the reallocation of significant capital towards renewable energy projects and sustainable businesses. This decisive action sent shockwaves through the financial world, demonstrating that faith-based ethical investing is a potent force. It pressured other institutions to examine their portfolios, amplified the call for a just transition, and proved that aligning investments with values is both morally imperative and financially prudent, challenging the narrative that fossil fuels are indispensable. Grassroots mobilization finds powerful expression in the Green Hutba campaign, coinciding with Eid celebrations globally. Initiated by Canadian Muslims, this campaign provides resources and sermon guides for imams to deliver the Eid sermon specifically focused on environmental stewardship as a core Islamic duty. It transforms one of the most significant gatherings in the Muslim calendar into a platform for urgent climate education and calls to action. Mosques encourage congregants to travel to Eid prayers using public transport, organize community cleanups, promote water conservation during ablutions, and pledge to reduce personal waste. The impact is the amplification of a unified environmental message to millions of Muslims simultaneously, fostering a shared sense of responsibility and translating faith into immediate, collective action during a spiritually potent moment. Similarly, the global Catholic climate movement's Laudato Si action platform operationalizes Pope Francis's encyclical into a structured 7-year journey for parishes, dioceses, schools, hospitals, and religious orders. It provides concrete pathways across 7 key goals: response to the cry of the earth, response to the cry of the poor, ecological economics, sustainable lifestyles, ecological education, ecological spirituality, and community engagement. Dioceses conduct energy audits of their buildings, religious orders transition lands to regenerative agriculture, schools integrate integral ecology into curricula, and parishes establish care for creation committees, driving local projects like community gardens or advocacy for clean energy policies. The platform enables sharing best practices globally, creating a powerful network of Catholic institutions actively walking the path outlined in Laudato Si, demonstrating systemic change from within the world's largest Christian denomination. These diverse case studies reveal a common thread: faith-led climate action generates powerful ripples. The solar panels on a church roof slash emissions inspire neighbors to consider solar for their homes. The imam trained by Effis educates his entire congregation, shifting community norms. The plastic-free temple festival reduces waste, educates thousands about consumption. The divested pension fund pressures markets, redefines ethical investment. The community garden provides fresh food, builds resilience and connection. It's a multiplier effect. Faith communities leverage their physical assets, moral authority, educational capacity, and deep community ties to create change that extends far beyond their walls, proving that sacred sustainability is both practical and profoundly impactful. Block 3. Unleashing collective power. Scaling impact and overcoming challenges. The profound ripple effects we've witnessed from these pioneering initiatives reveal a crucial truth. Faith communities possess unparalleled potential to accelerate climate action globally. Their strength lies not just in isolated successes, but in their inherent structural advantages: deep-rooted moral authority, vast transnational networks, trusted community presence, and the ability to inspire behavioral change through spiritual motivation. This unique combination enables them to translate individual projects into catalytic movements. Consider how the Church of Sweden's fossil fuel divestment decision resonated far beyond its own balance sheets. It sparked shareholder activism dialogues with major energy corporations and influenced pension funds across Scandinavia to reassess their ethical frameworks. Similarly, the Boomi Project's temple-based solar installations have evolved into collaborative microgrid partnerships with nearby villages in rural India, demonstrating how faith institutions can become hubs for decentralizing renewable energy access, while strengthening community resilience against power outages and pollution-related health issues. Yet scaling these successes faces significant hurdles. Financial constraints remain a persistent barrier, especially for historic religious buildings like St. James's Church, where retrofitting Grade 1 listed structures requires navigating complex heritage regulations and sourcing specialized, often costly materials. Many smaller congregations struggle with upfront costs for solar panels or heat pumps, despite long-term savings. Resistance to change also surfaces, whether from traditionalists wary of altering ritual practices, like substituting plastic offerings with organic alternatives in Hindu temples, or from communities grappling with the perceived tension between environmental priorities and immediate socioeconomic needs. The Green Khutbah campaign tackles this by embedding practical, low-cost actions within existing religious routines, making sustainability feel accessible rather than disruptive. Meanwhile, initiatives like Ifesis Al-Mizan program confront theological resistance by demonstrating how solar panels on mosque rooftops embody Quranic principles of resource conservation, thereby reframing technology as an instrument of faith. The path forward hinges on strategic amplification through collaboration. Interfaith alliances are multiplying, such as the Faiths for Forests campaign, uniting Buddhist, Christian, and indigenous leaders in the Amazon to combat deforestation through shared advocacy and reforestation drives. Digital platforms play a pivotal role. The Laudato Si Action Platform's online hub enables Catholic parishes in Kenya to share rainwater harvesting blueprints with counterparts in the Philippines, while Jewish solar mitzvah toolkits are adapted by mosques in Indonesia. Critically, faith institutions are leveraging their influence in policy arenas. The global Catholic climate movement coordinated over 150 faith-based organizations to advocate at COP28, presenting unified demands for loss and damage funding. In the U.S., coalitions of synagogues and churches have successfully lobbied for municipal bans on bass-powered leaf blowers, citing noise pollution and emissions. These efforts showcase how moral persuasion, when coupled with grassroots mobilization, can shift legislative priorities, proving that stewardship ethics can reshape political will. Ultimately, faith communities are redefining their role in the Anthropocene. By transforming worship spaces into sustainability showcases, redirecting investments toward regeneration, and embedding ecological consciousness into rights and education, they're modeling a future where reverence for the sacred is inseparable from care for the planet. The elderly Dzuchi recyclers sorting plastic with prayerful diligence, the imams preaching carbon accountability as divine duty, the youth groups planting sacred groves, all embody a powerful counter-narrative to apathy. Their collective action demonstrates that climate solutions rooted in spiritual conviction possess extraordinary endurance and scalability, offering not just reduced emissions but renewed purpose. As this movement grows, it challenges secular and religious leaders alike to recognize that the most effective climate strategies may well emerge from the very places humanity turns to for meaning, transforming temples, churches, mosques, and synagogues into dynamic engines of planetary healing.